Play 2040 by Lil Baby.
I'm doing donuts in my neighborhood, it make me feel good. I feel better with no IG, but I'm too big of an influence to live your. I got 200 bands in each ear for the club. I put numbers on the board, this is not for no awards. I get money, that's enough. I'ma change your whole life like it's nothing.
Today, we are in a 2026 BMW 760i. And this is a car that I feel like your favorite rapper, Drake, would buy. Imagine it like this. I'm at the Ubala house at the Bebelos. Burgundy house at the Bebelos. I'm at the Burberry house now with the Bebelos. So, since you aren't as great and as blessed as I am to be sitting here with me, this is what it's like to be in a high-class, futuristic / current, best-in-class luxury sedan. And yes, I just said a bunch of nothing. If you cannot tell, I'm excited. Let me pull this down so you can get a practical sense. What the hell is this? I know you're wondering. So you open this and it's a USB-C port, right? Except there's like this cutout square for, I'm assuming BMW sells some kind of accessory to go in there. To this day, I still don't know what they sell or what this is for. And I know that when it's closed, I say it's not the worst. Let's just say I could do without this whole thing and just slap the USB-C ports in the center console like we do on any other car on Earth. I guess who cares, because you still have the climate controls. I don't know if this is technically climate controls, but you can open and close the vents and then change the directions. Technically it is. I guess, I'm not sure. You have climate controls down there in the center. To the right of that, you also have climate controls here on the, what is this, the B pillar, on the B pillar. Below that, looking at the door panel, you're gonna be met with some confusion your first time in here. I promise you're gonna be met with some confusion. You can't really see the screen, so I'm not even gonna bother trying to show you that. However, I will show you what you can see. To open this door, there's obviously a button here, so you just click the button and then boom. There's also a physical release if that button ever does fail you. So closing the door here, you also have your window switch right there. Beneath that is your lock and unlock button. So they're illuminated. Well, I guess only on the lock it's illuminated. Unlocked, no illumination, lock, illuminated. Something that is surprisingly not a great design. In all the BMWs I've been in recently, they don't get this correct. That is the cup holders. So you kind of press this button, but the button is really close to the other button that opens your center storage there. And it does kind of get in the way. I guess it's something that you could just get over and get used to. I wish that the cup holders were just there whenever you pull this thing down, so it was less complicated, because what are you really gonna sit here, your phone? I mean, you're not really gonna sit your phone there, because let's be honest, you're just gonna be on your phone if you have it with you. Also, I don't think this charges it, so. This could be something stupid, but I love that BMW color matches the seat belts to the actual seat color and not like the accent color. Something I've noticed, I don't know, I just think it's cool to have, you know, those different colored seat belts. My favorite ones are when they put white seat belts in. Oh, as you can see here though, these are perforated. I can never get it right. They have holes in them, so they're more breathable. Okay, that's it. One last look at the seat in front of us. Obviously, you have your storage down here, which is, she's new. I'll tell you that much, she is new. I do like how they break up the space on the back of the seat here with the aluminum elements. Just to be clear, they're not actually aluminum. It's just plastic, but it looks aluminum. My favorite one is this accent here. They did a nice job breaking up the space, making it a little interesting. If you know anything about 3D design, dimension is important. So that's enough of the back seat, or maybe that's enough of the interior. Oh boy, that's bright. Enough of the interior. We're just gonna move straight to the trunk. The trunk on this car is 19.3 cubic feet. None of you have a clue as to how much space that actually is. So let me put it in terms that we can all understand. This trunk can hold approximately 915 lattes, 20-ounce lattes, by the way, or 18,300 fluid ounces of coffee. That's a lot of storage for a luxurious and, dare I say, sporty sedan. It's an automatic opening and lowering trunk lid, and you can lock the car from the trunk, which I think is pretty cool. I have my usual pack here. I have my tripods. Underneath that is some weather floor mats. Those are probably an upcharge. I don't know if those come standard. To the right, you have your first aid pack. And let's dig in here and see, is there a spare? There's no spare tires. What is this? That's your fix-a-flat. So instead of a tire, you get a tow hitch and a air compressor thing here. One last thing, I don't know about you guys, but I also don't care about the kick your foot under the license plate thing. Never works. So I don't even know if this car has that. So we'll just go ahead and close that. Something I do want to mention real quick is that to open the trunk, it's this button here. I think that button could be improved. No one ever said no to a lever. And before we get back into the car, I'm gonna show you all the engine bay. Plastic cover city, plastic cover city. To this day, BMW has the best hood latch design ever. You just pull it twice and you don't have to go finding the features. Here it is. The infamous, oh, she's kind of hot. The infamous BMW twin turboed V8. I'll just give you a look. I'll sit you right there. You can just take a look at her for a second. You just take a look at her for a second. All right, you've seen enough. You want to see any more? Go look at one yourself. While we're down here though, they have the soon to be iconic, as they say, beam headlights, also known as brighter than the sun. I don't really know how to feel about the actual design of the car. So the grille is it's not a great looking car, but it's also not a terrible looking car. Since we are never going back, ever, we are never going back to the old BMW design, I've come to accept it. It could be worse, it could be better. This is what we get. Now, this car is optioned with 21-inch wheels all around, probably to support the massive brakes needed to stop a 6,000-pound car. Might help with the all-around directional steering, but again, I'm not a mechanical engineer and I know nothing, so I'm just guessing. Taking a look around, you will notice that this car, it's really nice, really nice. You get in here and you just feel like a successful human. There's just no way around it. I was never, and I still am not, a fan of when you put seat adjustments on the upper portion of the door panel. It makes sense if you're old and decrepit, but if you're like, you know, a regular person, why are we changing it? That always annoyed me. I will say though, I do like the crystallized effect. That's cool. Underneath that, you'll see the first essence of the ambient lighting, and then the downfall of society. You can't even see it, but the capacitive touch buttons here, so it's going to be lock, unlock, massaging seats, and then your memory seat set position, they all suck. You can never tell if you've actually pressed something. Like for example, like you lock it, there's no response except the lighting and like a noise that you can barely hear. It's like that for your door, for your lock, unlock, your lighting settings. Your vent controls are also a capacitive slider. I'll show you that better in the center. Capacitive slider. You'll come to find that when you turn on the climate controls of the fan, you never know if it's actually on. So you'll just be sitting in the car completely baking like I was. You just start sweating and perspirating, and then you're like, oh my God, I thought I turned the air on. And you did, because the fan is still blowing, so it sounds like the vents are open, but they're not. You can't just quickly look and identify that green light anywhere, because this is pretty much exactly how it looks in real life too. You see how like the reflection there and then the ambient lighting interferes with this light that tells you if the vent's open? Yeah, that's a real problem. Another thing is, I thought that people were being ridiculous when they said that this knob sent reflections all over the car, except they weren't being ridiculous. It does do that, and it's quite distracting and annoying. So that sends refractions and reflections, rainbow reflections all over the car, along with this crystal element. And then you have the glossy reflective plastic trim here that's also lit. You just wind up not being able to actually see anything that you need to see. There's also one more thing here. The gear selector is also crystallized. These are first world high class issues. Oh my God, my crystal gear selector is sending rainbow reflections throughout my vehicle. What am I gonna do with my life? You know what I'm saying? What am I gonna do with my life? What are we gonna do with our life? Right? And then pair that, those rainbow reflections, with this fully panoramic moonroof, and I tell you what, there is a moment where it all just stops making sense. There is a moment where it all just completely stops making sense. It's a lot. There's a lot going on in here. But at the same time, this car drives like no other. It's mainly because the all-around directional steering that makes you feel like when you're taking turns, you're just glued to the earth. That is that's a majority of the driving experience. The power delivery is also quite exciting. So I don't know if this makes any sense, and I might be describing torque right now. The speed at which the power is delivered is the exciting part. That's where the excitement came from my friend and I, when we were like, oh my goodness, this car is so fast. Because as soon as you put your foot down, all four tires they grip, and then they all turn at the same time. It's just like a recipe for success. It's a recipe for success, I'll tell you that much. This is the gear selector I was talking about, and then that's the knob, so they're both crystal. The gear selectors on all the BMWs are pretty intuitive. They have this center console pretty much figured out, so that's pretty cool. Your volume rocker is there, your parking sensors and cameras are here, drive mode's here. This car also has a lift. It is on all-around air suspension, 2-axle air suspension. That's what this button controls. So if you want to lift the car up, you have a bump, or you have someone that maybe needs a little lower of an entrance, you can go ahead, plop that button, and then it will raise the car. Typical car stuff with your start-stop engine, so that's just placed right there. You have your cup holders. You also have your wireless charging pad and your NFC tag reader in there. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my least favorite thing about the interior altogether. It's going to be the glove compartment opening what's going on? See, look, I just clicked it. Look, glove compartment lock malfunction. Have the problem checked by your service department. And I didn't make that up. That was my first time clicking this button. Actually, that was gonna be my entire argument for why I didn't like the button, because it just seems like something that is so unnecessary. I don't understand why you couldn't just have a button, like just a button. I don't understand why you couldn't have just a button. That's actually pretty funny that just happened. Didn't plan that. I swear to God, that was my first time tapping the button, and it's already broken. That is simply just to open the glove compartment. So now you've got to take this $130,000 car to your nearest service center in order to get in your glove compartment. And that's probably gonna be a $2,000 or $3,000 bill just for them to tell you that it's broken. But what do I know? What do I know? That's why I said get this on a lease. BMW is also implementing something called the crash cam. So right here, there's gonna be a Soviet era spy cam right here. And that is so if you have any incidents of break-ins or accidents, the car can record a set amount of time and then send that to your phone so you can use that for your insurance. If the accident's your fault, delete it. A couple closing thoughts that I'm having about the 760i, the 7 Series altogether. It looks like a pathetic excuse of a car. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I think this car executes its lane or its idea or its target audience perfectly. Maybe the guy that's older, or maybe the guy that works a lot, maybe the guy that drives a lot, travels a lot for work, is on the phone a lot. An executive, a CEO, a businessman, that kind of thing. I think that's exactly what this car is for. And I think that this car does that very well. Let me put it like this. Once you get in this car and close the door, the world kind of goes away. There's very little road noise. There's very little noise from the outside world. It almost gives you like, it's sort of, how do I say it? It's sort of a luxurious experience, like I keep saying. Have I not said that enough? It is a luxurious experience. I will say though, it's not on Mercedes S-Class level, to which it goes to the extent of having it so refined that even your window switches just feel premium. They look premium, they feel premium, they are premium. It's not that kind of thing. It is very close. It is very close. And the fact of the matter is, yes, this car is $130,000, but that is going to be brand new, and that is also for the 760. The top tier V8 model. If you get something like the 740 or the i7, this car is almost best in its class for that kind of money. I just want to finish this video out by adding something. So this car gets a lot of things right. However, if I were in the market for this, I would say that the S-Class, is that not what this car is directly competing with? The S-Class does it better. The S-Class has a more attractive interior. It looks better, it feels better, and dare I say it is better. Unfortunately though, that car is probably almost double the price, if not at least $70,000 more at face value. Things that the 760 does get right though, is gonna be the drivetrain, powertrain, the engine, the steering, and the all-wheel drive system. Those things are very good. This car is smooth, the cabin is quiet, it's luxurious enough. The Mercedes though takes it a step further with things like down to the last window switch. It just feels premium. It has a nice click to it, and it just makes sense. Where the Mercedes fails to meet its rivals is going to be the software. Every customer that I've seen come in and get the 760 or any BMW, be it they come from an Audi, Mercedes, something else, a Genesis, whatever it may be, the number one thing that I've heard as to why they come to BMW is because of the technology. It is actually genuinely, genuinely the best in its class for technology. User interface, Apple CarPlay, iDrive, it's just better. It makes sense. You get in here and you can take about 10 to 15 minutes to figure out pretty much the basis of what you need to know. That same sentiment, I struggle to vocalize for BMW's competitors. That is exactly what I want to explore on this channel and throughout the next couple months. Because I have to clarify, I'm not a BMW fanboy, but I can call out a good, decent, or great design when I see one. In that case, thanks for watching. Hopefully I answered at least one of your questions. I know I blab a lot. These reviews are gonna get a lot better, especially when I get that ND filter. That being said, I'm gonna go park this car. I gotta take a leak, and I gotta fix my wardrobe because it's 70 degrees out, and for some reason, I'm wearing a goddamn sweater. Funny story. My friend and I, one of my good friends and I, we both happened to be driving these cars on the same day. So we were both driving a 760 in the same exact spec, with the same exact engine, the same interior, everything, and didn't even know it. And the funny thing is, so he was in Florida and I was just at work. You know, I'm not gonna LARP. I am not a professional LARPer, so I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I was at work. He was down in Florida, living it up. And I got a text randomly. Right? Like almost sometime throughout the day. And he sent me a video of him driving his car. He sent me a video of him driving the 7 Series, and he was like, yo, dude, like, I know you work around these cars all the time. Like, this car is insane. Like, it's so fun. It's so fast. And he sent me a video of him pressing it and like doing some pulls. And he was just absolutely through the roof, filled with excitement. And I just thought it was funny because it was actually my first time driving a 760 that day. Like, that was my first time driving one. And I remember, I shouldn't tell you this, I did a few, 0 to 60s, like getting on the highway and this and that. And it's just an insane, it is seriously just a ridiculously fast car, especially for how big and how comfortable it is. It's insane. So I thought it was funny that we just both so happen to have the same exact sentiment and experience on the same day, two different parts of the country, totally random, and we both came to the same exact conclusion, and that was that this car is just crazy fast and comfortable all at the same time.